If you are new to the channel, then subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for further notification. Okay student, welcome you all to this new lecture in basic level where you are developing concepts on inverse trigonometry. So today we will see some of the formulas of inverse trigonometry and what are the changes in these formulas from our normal trigonometric formula. Okay, then let's see this. Now this one we have already seen. Sine of sine inverse x is x, cos of cos inverse tan of tan inverse is already x, but the reverse is not true. Reverse is true if you restrict the domain as the domain of sine inverse x, as the output of sine inverse x, because then your input and output will be same, because final output will, cos inverse will say the final output. So you give input accordingly is say, so that your input output matches. So what is the output of cos inverse? 0 to pi. So you give input only 0 to pi, so it will be same. Similarly, if you give between these to this, then it will be same. Now to understand this one from here onwards, because in formulas, whatever formula in trigonometry is there, same formula in inverse is there. So you can think of so many formulas, but it is easy to remember. But there is a little modifications will be there, because we have changed the domain a little bit. So I will give you some trick to remember this one. For basic it will not be required, it will be easy. Basic formulas are not that much here. But what I have done, I have given all the formulas at the same time. So the formulas which is given in a box, that are only meant for basics, and the rest of the formulas which are included with this one, some of the typical cases, that are for advanced or intermediate level. So first let us understand this one. In trigonometry I have explained you quadrant angle. What do you mean by quadrant angle? Suppose you have an angle, this one, whatever angle, suppose so whatever you take, sine, cos, tan, whatever. I am not talking about now sine, positive, negative, I am not taking, I am just talking about the value. So whatever you take, suppose sine 150, cos 150, what value it will give? It will give 30 degree values, because it is making 30 degree with this quadrant. This is absolute angle 150 and 30 degree is the quadrant angle. It is second quadrant, 30 degree. So 30 degree values it will come. Positive, negative, that will depend which ratio it is there. For sine it will be positive, sine and cosec, and rest of the others it will be negative, because it is in second quadrant. But it will take the value of 30 degree. Okay. Now if you want to get the same value in first quadrant, whatever value it is coming from 150, if you want to get the same value in first quadrant, so you draw 30 degree here. So the same values will come here. Positive, negative I am not talking about, again I am saying that will come later, just values you think. So whatever value of sine 150 is there, if you want to get it in first quadrant, you will do 30 degree. It will give you same value, because it will also take 30 degree values. So if you want to shift from this quadrant, now I am saying, suppose you have got an angle theta here. If you want to shift the line so that you get the same value in first quadrant from second to first, it is second, from second to first. You remember these cases. So what you will do, don't think it is 90-20. What will be this angle? It will be pi minus theta, because you can see 180 minus 150, 30, so you draw 30 degree here. So to shift from second quadrant to first quadrant, if it's second quadrant theta, if you want to move it to first quadrant, it is pi minus theta. You remember this one. Now suppose you are in fourth quadrant. Now suppose you are going to fourth to second quadrant. Suppose this is your theta. This is what theta? This is fourth quadrant. A quadrant angle is always with horizontal line. So if you want to make the same angle here, so what you will do? You will make the same angle theta here. You can see if you give 30 degree value here, cos 30 or sin 30 here, same sin 30, you will get that means this angle. You just think it, because your theta is here minus 30. So what you will do? So if you want to go pi plus, do this one. So from here you want to move, because it is the same line, you can see. So from this line, if you want to move this line, so what will happen? So you just increase your angle by 180 degree, pi. So you will do pi plus theta. So why sir it is theta? Because theta is negative here. So you can see if your theta is minus 30, because it is in fourth quadrant, you will give minus 30. So if you want to come here, what value you will give? 180 plus minus 30. So it will be 150. You can see it will be 150. It will give the same value. Whatever value sin 30 is giving, minus 30, sin 150 will also give same value, but not value, absolute value, not positive, negative, don't think that way. So this is one way to remember. From another thing, that will be another one will be required, that is for you. Okay, fourth to 1. Suppose if you are in fourth quadrant, you want to go to first quadrant, this one. This is easy. Suppose this is minus 30. So what you will do? You will draw the same line here, minus of that one. So that's it. If it is theta, then what you will do? You will do it minus theta. If I say minus 30, then what you will do? You will do 30 degree here. That is minus of minus 30. That will give you the same idea. So if it is fourth quadrant, it is theta, then first quadrant will be minus theta if you want to move it from here to here. Then another thing will be, suppose from second to fourth. So fourth to second you want to see. So second to fourth, what it will be? From now you are here, theta. So what you will move? You will come now here. So if you move forward, then you add pi. So if you move backward, then you add, suppose this is fourth was theta, then you are moving to second quadrant, so it is pi plus theta. Here second is theta. If you want to move it, now it is theta. So if you want to move to fourth quadrant, whatever angle it is, same angle it will come. Just to move, it is the same line, just to shift it to 180 degree. So it will be theta minus pi. So you recall all these things. Now it will be easy. Now once you see this formula, it becomes easy. Now what is sine inverse minus x? Okay, for negative values, which value it will give you? Negative quadrant. Okay, minus pi by 2 negative quadrant, this one, fourth quadrant, because sine inverse negative value you have chosen this quadrant, for negative value, for positive, for sine you have chosen these two quadrant, for positive value this, for negative value this. For sine inverse minus x will give you here answer, but you want to write it in positive values, this one. So if you want to come from this to this angle, so what you will do? This one, it is just a minus, either from second to fourth or first to fourth. What you will do? Theta to minus theta, then you will move from this to this quadrant. That's why minus sign is coming. You can see from this angle you are coming to this angle, because sine minus x is this angle. You want to write it in terms of sine inverse x, which is here, positive values. So that means this, if you want to move from this angle to here, so it will be minus. Similarly cos, so for cos, what are the quadrants? These two are the quadrants. Now cos minus x comes here, because cos positive value will give from this, negative values will give. Cos, you recall, what is your cos inverse? Your domain, your range is from 0 to pi. So your output is from 0 to pi. For positive values here, negative values here. If you give negative values, you are landing here. So you want to write it in this, cos inverse x is here because it is positive. So if you want to write this answer in terms of this, so you want to shift it from this quadrant to first quadrant. How it will be shifted? Second to first, you have seen it is pi minus theta. So pi minus theta. So pi minus cos inverse. Similarly tan inverse x is again this quadrant. So it is fourth to second, second to fourth. So it is always this one. Now cot inverse minus x. Okay. So again cot inverse minus x. What is cot inverse minus x? Cot is these two quadrants. So again from from here to, you want to move it here. Cot inverse minus x. You want to write it in cot inverse x. So it is pi minus this one. Either way, either if you move from this or this. If it is also theta, then if you move, it is also pi minus theta. Either first to second or second to first. Now if you come to sec inverse, you have already done. Cosec inverse again like sine, because cosec is this and this. So cosec negative will be here. If you want to write it in this quadrant format, so it will be just minus of this one. So remember this one. How to shift from second to 2, it is pi minus theta, or to first to second. From fourth to 2, it is pi plus theta. If you want to go 2 to 4th, it is pi minus, because you are coming back, and here it is just plus minus. With this, only these formulas, you will never get confused here. Now you can see cosec inverse x equal to sin inverse 1 by x. You can think, because these angles, x is not here angle, x is here values. So sin theta was 1 by cosec theta was 1 by sin theta. The values were reciprocal. That's why the values are reciprocal. You can also remember it in this way. Suppose cosec inverse equal to theta. I have proved it here. So cosec theta equal to x. So what will be sin theta? Because cosec theta, it will be 1 by x. What is theta? Sin inverse x. So what was theta? Cosec inverse x. That means cosec inverse x is nothing but sin inverse x. You can see this proof. Cosec inverse x theta, cosec theta x, sin theta 1 by x, theta sin inverse 1 by x. So these two are equal. So you remember this one. Again, this zone is required, because for cosec, whatever input you give, this input should be in between these two. Then only this is true, because it is on sec defined. So sec input is this. It should be this. So sec is again this, cot is again this, for x is greater than 0. Now what happens cot, why this comes? Because sine cosec, the range was same. Sine cosec, cos sec, the range. But tan and cot, it was a difference. The positive was okay. Tan was also giving positive first quadrant, cot is also positive. But tan negative gives fourth quadrant, cot negative gives second quadrant. So you have to switch from second to fourth. So how to switch from second to fourth? Which one is there? Tan inverse is in which quadrant? Second to fourth. Either pi plus theta or pi minus theta. Now you have to see which quadrant you are moving. So you have cot inverse x. So what is the cot inverse x quadrant? Let me write it here. So cot inverse x for negative values of x. So cot gives negative value here, and you want to write it in terms of tan inverse x. So tan negatives gives here, tan inverse negative value comes here, and cot inverse negative value comes here. So if you want to shift this tan inverse to a cot inverse value, because you are doing something with this one so that it becomes this one. So if you want to shift from this to this, so what value you have to take? Pi plus theta, you can see. From second to fourth, if you want to reach, that is pi plus theta. So that's why it is pi plus this one. So once you remember this one, these formulas becomes easy. For basics, you just remember the basic formula. This critical portion you can forget. This is very important formula in inverse. Sin inverse plus cos inverse is always pi by 2. Like your sin square plus cos square theta 1, which was very important in trigonometry. These three are very important in inverse trigonometry, because these are complementary, comes from complementary angle theorem. Again I have proved it here. Sin 90 minus theta is cos theta. Let's take it as x. So theta equal to cos inverse x, and this is also x. So from here you can say theta is equal to sin inverse x minus 90, because 90 minus theta will be sin inverse x. So theta will be 90 minus. So if you add these two, sin inverse x plus cos inverse x, what you will get? Because you have to subtract these two, then it will be. So if you subtract, it will be 0, it will be 90. Then sin inverse plus cos inverse will be equal to pi by 2. So you can see this one. If you subtract this one, 0, cos inverse x minus 90 plus sin inverse x. So sin inverse x plus cos inverse equal to 90 degree, that is pi by 2. Again tan plus cot also same, sec plus cosec is also same. You have to see the domain. Tan, cot, both the domain is R. Any real value you can put. The domain I am talking about, tan and cot. And here also the domain is same for cosec and cosec. If you like the video, then press the like button and please give your valuable comments in the comment section.